Gently close your eyes and allow this moment to be only for you. Breathe deeply through your nose, and as you exhale, feel how your body begins to let go. Once again, you inhale slowly and exhale, releasing the tension, the worries, and everything you do not need right now. Allow the sounds from outside to become more and more distant. You do not need to fight your thoughts or try to stop them. Simply let them pass. For too long, perhaps you have searched for answers outside yourself, in other people, in circumstances, in what happens around you. But now, you do not need to search for anything. With each breath, the outside world loses importance, and your attention begins to return inward. Less noise, less thought, more presence. Because when the outside becomes still, you can begin to hear what has always been inside you. Now that the body begins to feel heavier, calmer, and little by little, the sounds from outside stop demanding your attention, I want you to bring all your awareness inward. Stop paying attention for a few moments to everything around you. Forget where you are. Forget the room. Forget the space your body occupies, and simply enter your inner world. Now bring your attention to the center of your head. Do not try to find anything specific. You do not need to do it well. You do not need to see any special image. Just direct your awareness toward that space and remain there. Breathe and feel, as if you could perceive the space that exists behind your eyes, the space between your ears, the space in the center of your head. And now, instead of focusing only on one point, begin to perceive also the space that surrounds it. Perceive the darkness. Perceive the silence. Perceive the vastness of that inner space. And the more aware you are of that space, the less attention you are giving to the outside world. Less attention to the body, less attention to time, less attention to what happened yesterday, less attention to what might happen tomorrow. Only this instant exists, here, now. Breathe deeply, and as you exhale, allow your attention to return once again to the center of your mind. Imagine there a small sphere of light. You do not need to decide its shape or its color. Simply allow it to appear. Perhaps it is only a small luminous point in the middle of an immense darkness. Observe that light without trying to control it, without asking yourself what it means. Just observe. And each time a thought appears, do not fight against it. Recognize it and let it go. Then return. Return to the center. Return to the silence. Return to the light. Again and again. Because every time you choose where to place your attention, you are training your mind to stop reacting automatically to everything that happens outside you. Breathe and return to the center. Perhaps throughout much of your day, your attention remains divided between people, messages, obligations, memories, worries, and expectations. Your mental energy is constantly scattered outward. But during these minutes, you are doing exactly the opposite. You are gathering your attention. You are no longer giving it away to the noise outside, and you are bringing it back to yourself. Feel again the space in the center of your head, and now feel the space around that space. Perceive the vastness, as if your awareness could expand a little beyond the limits you normally perceive. You do not need to think about the space. You need to feel it. Feel the space behind your eyes. Feel the space behind your forehead. Feel the space around your head. And then allow your awareness to open even more. As if you were suspended in an immense peaceful darkness, with nothing to solve, with nowhere to arrive, with no identity to defend. During these moments, you do not need to be who you are during the rest of the day. You do not need to remember your problems. You do not need to think about your circumstances. You do not need to anticipate your future. Only awareness, only presence, only this moment. And from that stillness, perceive once again that small light inside you. Perhaps now you feel it a little more intense. With each inhalation, remain aware of it. With each exhalation, let go a little more of the outside world. Inhale, awareness. Exhale, silence. Inhale, presence. Exhale, everything you no longer need. And slowly imagine that this small sphere begins to expand. First just a few centimeters, then a little more, like a soft light crossing the darkness without effort. You do not need to make it happen. Simply allow allow the light to expand. Allow your attention to expand. Allow your perception to expand. And remain here for a few moments, without looking for an extraordinary experience, without expecting anything to happen. Because when we stop trying to control the moment, we can begin to perceive things that used to remain hidden behind the constant noise of our thoughts. So return to the center. Once again, return to that space. Return to that light. Return to yourself. And ask yourself silently, who am I when I stop listening to all the outside noise? Do not answer. Do not look for a mental answer. Just leave the question suspended in the silence and observe. Because perhaps the clarity you are seeking does not need to be created. Perhaps you simply need to make enough silence so you can perceive it. And now, without leaving that space of stillness you have created within yourself, begin to bring your attention to the sound. Do not try to analyze it. Do not try to understand it. Simply listen to it. Allow the frequency of 963 Hz to become a point of attention, a thread of sound inviting you to remain present. Listen to the vibration. Perceive how it appears, how it remains, how it moves within your experience. And as you listen, breathe deeply, inhale slowly, and feel that you receive. Exhale, and feel that you release. Once again, inhale, you receive. Exhale, you release. With each inhalation, imagine that you allow more space, more calm, more clarity to enter. And with each exhalation, let the mental noise leave. The worries, the expectations, the need to understand, the need to control, the need to know what will happen next. Inhale, you receive. Exhale, you release interference. And now imagine that the sound is not only outside you. Imagine that you can feel it inside, as if that vibration were gently crossing the space of your mind. Like waves expanding over the calm surface of water, one after another, wider and wider, deeper and deeper. You do not have to do anything. Just listen, just breathe, just perceive. And if a thought appears, let it pass. Do not follow it. Do not build a story around it. Return to the sound. If a memory appears, return to the sound. If a worry appears, return to the sound. If your mind tries to anticipate what comes next, return to the sound. Again and again. Because now you are not trying to think in a different way. You are learning to perceive in a different way. For a few moments, stop asking yourself what you are feeling means. Simply feel it. Stop putting words on the experience. Stop naming. Stop classifying. Stop interpreting. Listen. Breathe. Perceive. And the less you try to define this moment, the more deeply you can enter it. Now bring your awareness once again toward that point of light you imagined in the center of your mind. And as the frequency continues sounding, imagine that this small light begins to respond gently to the vibration. As if it were pulsing, very slowly, expanding with each inhalation and relaxing with each exhalation. You inhale, the light expands. You exhale, the noise disappears. You inhale, you receive. You exhale, you release. And little by little, allow that light to become wider. Let it cross your entire inner space, as if each vibration cleared a little more of the noise that normally occupies your mind. You do not need to force any sensation. If you feel something, observe it. If you feel nothing, observe that too. We are not looking for a specific experience. We are creating the conditions to be completely present. So listen deeply. Do not listen only with your ears. Perceive the sound with your whole body. Perceive the space between one sound and another. Perceive the silence beneath the music. Perceive the vibration. Perceive your breathing. Perceive your own presence. And now begin to imagine that the limits between you and the sound become less important. You are no longer simply listening to a frequency. You are resting inside an experience of sound. As if the vibration were around you, above you, below you, behind you, in front of you, and gently crossing your entire inner space. Allow your awareness to expand within that space, beyond your thoughts, beyond worries, beyond the constant conversation of your mind. And return to breathing deeply. Inhale, receive clarity. Exhale, release interference. Inhale, receive silence. Exhale, release noise. Inhale, receive presence. Exhale, release control. And now, even stop repeating the words. Just breathe. Just listen. Just feel. Allow the frequency alone to accompany your experience for a few moments. And perhaps you begin to notice something very simple. When thought decreases, perception increases. When you stop searching, you begin to observe. When you stop trying to obtain answers, you create space for clarity to appear. So do not search. Do not force. Do not expect. Remain. Listen. Perceive. And let your awareness rest in that inner space. Because from here, from this silence, from this presence, we are going to begin slowly opening the door to your inner vision. And now, from this state of silence, allow your attention to become even deeper. You do not need to open your eyes. You do not need to look anywhere. Because during the next few minutes, we are not going to try to see with the eyes. We are simply going to observe with awareness. So bring your attention again toward that inner space, toward that darkness behind your eyes, and observe. Without searching for anything, without expecting anything, without trying to create any image. Simply contemplate the space that appears in front of you when you close your eyes. Perhaps there is only darkness, and that is all right. Stay in it. Perceive its depth. Perceive its vastness. As if that darkness were not something empty, but an open space in which you can rest. You do not need to know what will appear. In fact, try to release any expectation, because the moment you expect to see something specific, you return to thinking. And now we want to do exactly the opposite. We want to move from thinking to perceiving, from controlling to allowing, from searching to observing. Breathe deeply, and as you exhale, let go a little more. Now ask yourself, what can I perceive when I stop trying to perceive? And do not answer. Leave the question suspended. Observe. Perhaps a color appears, perhaps a shape, perhaps a sensation in some part of your body, perhaps a seemingly random memory, perhaps a fleeting image, a person, a place, a word, a symbol, or perhaps absolutely nothing appears. Everything is all right. Do not judge the experience. Do not immediately decide what it means. Just observe. If an image appears, observe it. If it disappears, let it disappear. If an emotion appears, feel it. If a memory appears, Allow it to be there for a few moments. And if only darkness exists, remain in the darkness. You do not need to turn every sensation into a message. You do not need to find meaning in everything that appears. Your only task now is to be present. And while you remain here, imagine that your awareness becomes wider, as if you could take a small step back from your own thoughts and observe them. A thought appears, and you observe it. An image appears, and you observe it. An emotion appears, and you observe it. But you are not that thought. You are not that image. You are not that emotion. You are the awareness that can realize they are there. And the less you react to what appears, the more deeply you can observe. Breathe and return to the space. Return to the darkness. Return to the silence. Now imagine again that small sphere of light in the center of your inner space. But this time, do not try to make it brighter. Do Do not try to move it. Do not try to control what happens. Just observe it. Perhaps it changes. Perhaps it stays the same. Perhaps it disappears. Let it be. And feel that around that light, there is an immense space, silent, open, unknown. Allow your awareness to rest there, without past, without future, without the need to define who you are. For a few moments, even stop thinking about your name. Stop thinking about your story, about your responsibilities, about your circumstances, about what you believe is possible or impossible for you. You do not need to bring any of those things with you into this space. Here you only need to be present, aware, observing. And now, from the stillness, internally form a very simple question. What do I need to see more clearly at this moment in my life? Do not search for the answer. Do not think the answer. Do not try to build it. Ask and then remain silent. Perhaps something appears immediately. Perhaps it appears later. Perhaps nothing appears. It does not matter. Because this exercise is not about getting a perfect answer. It is about learning to create enough inner silence to hear what is usually buried beneath the noise. And if something arises, observe it with curiosity, without judging, without clinging. Ask yourself gently, what do I feel when I observe this? And then, is there something I need to understand? And once again, do not answer from the mind. Allow, observe, listen, feel. Perhaps your clarity will not come as a voice. Perhaps it will come as a feeling of certainty, as a simple understanding, as an emotion, as an image. Or perhaps clarity is simply realizing that you do not need to have all the answers right now. Breathe deeply and feel the space inside you, more and more silent, more and more open, more and more receptive. You are not trying to force your mind to show you anything. You are creating space. And from that space, you can begin to observe yourself in a different way. Without the same stories, without the same expectations, without the same noise. Stay here for a few more moments. Do not search, do not force, do not interpret. Just observe. and allow any image, sensation, emotion or understanding that needs to appear at its own rhythm. Because some answers arrive when we ask, and others can only be heard when we finally create enough silence. I release the need to have all the answers. I release the fear of trusting myself. I leave behind the voices that made me doubt my perception. My mind becomes still, and my perception becomes clearer. Each day I trust more in my inner wisdom. I release every thought that interferes with my clarity. I no longer need to control what comes. I allow myself to enter the unknown with trust. I release the doubts that limit my perception. I release the old beliefs that no longer represent me. My past no longer determines the way I perceive my future. I free myself from the need to understand everything. I trust what I feel deeply. My mind is open to new possibilities. I allow myself to listen before reacting. Inner silence helps me hear myself more clearly. I stop constantly searching for answers outside myself. I return to my center. I trust my ability to discern. My perception frees itself from fear. I release the need to anticipate every outcome. I let go of what clouds my inner vision. I no longer allow external opinions to define my truth. I listen to my inner self with calm and discernment. I can observe my thoughts without becoming them. I release repetitive thoughts that keep me in the past. My mind learns to rest in the present. I allow myself to experience silence without needing to feel it. I am present. I am aware. I am open to perceiving more deeply. I release the need to judge what appears within me. I observe without fear. I listen without expectations. I perceive without trying to control. I trust without needing to know the whole path. I release the confusion that belongs to old versions of myself. I leave behind mental patterns that limited my perception. My awareness can go beyond my usual thoughts. Each breath brings me back to the present. Each moment of silence creates space within me. I allow myself to see my life from a new perspective. I no longer need to repeat the same stories. I release the beliefs that taught me to distrust myself. I release the fear of making mistakes. I do not need everything to be perfect in order to move forward. I can listen to my intuition and keep my discernment. I give myself permission to change direction when I feel it is necessary. My clarity increases when I stop forcing the answers. The more present I am, the more clearly I can observe. I release the need to receive external approval. My worth does not depend on others understanding my path. I trust my ability to make conscious decisions. I stop giving my power away to other people's opinions. I recover my attention. I recover my presence. I recover my ability to listen to myself. My energy returns to the present moment. I release what I can no longer change. I release what has not happened yet. This instant is enough. I can rest in not knowing. The unknown no longer has to mean danger. I open myself to the unknown from serenity. I do not need to control the future in order to feel at peace. I allow life to reveal the next step to me in its own time. My mind becomes silent. My body relaxes. My awareness expands. My perception becomes cleaner and more serene. I let go of expectations that distort what I observe. I do not need to see what I want to see. I allow myself to observe what is truly present. I release automatic interpretations. I create space between what happens and my reaction. I can choose a new response. I can choose a new thought. I can contemplate new possibilities. I'm willing to see myself in a different way. I'm willing to leave behind a limited version of myself. I no longer need to identify with my old thoughts. I no longer need to react from my old fears. I can remain silent and observe. I trust stillness. I trust the process of knowing myself deeply. I allow myself to listen to what my inner self is trying to show me. Clarity appears when I make space for it. I do not chase answers. I create silence to receive understanding. I open myself to understanding what I could not see before. I allow my perception to renew itself. Each day I can observe my life with new eyes. I choose thoughts that create space instead of fear. I choose presence instead of worry. I choose trust instead of control. I choose to observe before reacting. I choose to listen to myself more deeply. I am open to new understandings. I am ready to see beyond my old patterns. I trust that clarity will arrive when I am ready to recognize it. My mind is silent. My awareness is present. And I am ready to see clearly. And now, remain in this space. You do not need to go anywhere. You do not need to achieve anything. You do not need to provoke any experience. Simply remain here, present, aware, receptive. After having quieted the outside noise, after having brought your attention inward, now allow a question to appear. You do not have to answer it with words. You do not have to think about it. Just let the question fall softly into the silence of your mind, like a drop falling onto a completely still lake, and ask yourself internally, what does my inner self need to show me today? Do not search for the answer. That is the exercise. Do not chase it. Do not try to imagine what should appear. Because the moment you begin desperately searching for an answer, you return to thought. And now we want to remain in perception. So simply observe. Perhaps you receive an image. Perhaps a word appears, a sensation, a memory, a face, a place, a color, an unexpected emotion. Perhaps you simply feel something in the body, or perhaps absolutely nothing appears yet. And that is also all right. You do not need to force it. Your only task is to create space and observe. And if something appears, do not rush immediately to interpret it. Do not ask right away what it means. Do not try to turn it into an answer. Observe it. Allow it to remain in front of your awareness. Look at it with curiosity, as if you were contemplating something for the first time, without expectations, without judgment, without needing to reach any conclusion. And now you can ask a second question. Is there something I need to understand at this moment in my life? Ask the question and release it. Do not think the answer. Feel. Because not every understanding arrives in the form of words. Sometimes it comes as certainty, as a deep feeling of knowing, as something that simply feels true. And other times, it arrives as an emotion, as an image, as a memory that appears seemingly without reason, or as a new way of observing something you already knew. You do not need to decide now whether what appears is important. Simply become aware of it. And also observe something else. Can you distinguish between an answer you are trying to manufacture and something that simply appears? When you desperately search for an answer, there is usually effort, there is tension, there is expectation. Your mind wants to get somewhere. But when you simply observe, there is no effort, no rush, no need. There is only openness. So now, stop searching, stop trying, even stop expecting, and listen. Allow the silence to do its work. Breathe slowly and feel. Perhaps there is something you have been trying to solve from thought for a long time. A decision, a situation, a relationship, a change, a question about your own path. Do not try to solve it now. Simply bring it gently into your awareness. Observe it from a distance and ask, if I stopped being afraid, what would I see more clearly? Observe the first thing that appears, without judging it, without correcting it, without trying to make it more spiritual, more logical, or more convenient. Simply observe. And now ask, what am I avoiding seeing? Breathe. And one more question. What part of me already knows the next step? Allow, receive, observe. You do not need a complete answer. Perhaps only a small sensation appears, a direction, a word, a calm impulse, and that is enough. Because intuition does not always need to shout. Many times, it is exactly the opposite. It is that small perception that appears before the mind begins to analyze it. Before the buts appear, before the doubts appear, before the fear appears. That is why we are creating silence, so we can observe what usually remains hidden behind all that noise. And now ask yourself the initial question again. But this time, ask it from an even deeper place. Breathe, let go, and ask, what does my inner self need to show me today? And then, do absolutely nothing. Remain there, without searching, without chasing, without demanding answers, only present, only aware, only listening. And trust something very simple. You do not need to understand everything that appears tonight. Perhaps something will make sense tomorrow. Perhaps an understanding will appear in the coming days. Or perhaps the only thing you needed in this moment was to remember how to remain in silence with yourself. Breathe deeply and keep within you whatever has appeared, without clinging, without judging it, simply recognizing it. And little by little, allow your mind to rest again, because you no longer need to chase clarity. Now you are simply creating the space so clarity can appear. And now, you no longer need to ask any questions. You no longer need to search for any answer. You no longer need to understand anything else tonight. Everything you have felt, everything you have perceived, and also everything you have not yet been able to understand can simply remain there. Allow your conscious mind to begin to rest, and while your body gradually enters a deeper and deeper state of relaxation, let these words accompany you. You do not need to repeat them mentally. You do not need to memorize them. Simply listen to them and allow them to pass gently through you. Breathe slowly and feel how each exhalation carries you a little more deeply into rest, calmer, more relaxed, more silent. And as you listen to the background sound, allow each word to find its own place inside you. I trust my perception. I trust my ability to listen to myself. I listen to my inner wisdom. My mind is calm. My inner world is silent. I see my life with greater clarity. I do not need to have all the answers now. The answers can arrive when I am ready to recognize them. And now, Allow your breathing to become completely natural again. You do not need to direct it. Your body knows how to breathe. Your body knows how to rest. And you can stop doing. Stop controlling. Stop searching. For today, it is enough. Imagine again that small light you have observed during this meditation. But now you do not need to focus on it. Simply allow it to remain there, soft, calm, stable, as a symbol of that clarity you are cultivating within yourself. And with each breath, more calm. With each exhalation, more silence. With each instant, more deeply towards sleep. From now on, I'm going to speak less and less, and you can listen less and less. You do not need to follow every word. You do not need to stay awake to hear the end. In fact, if at any point you stop hearing my voice because you have entered deeply into sleep, simply allow it to happen. Your only task now is to rest. And as you come closer to sleep, let these final words appear slowly, one by one, with a lot of space between them. I trust myself. I trust my perception. I am present. I am calm. I am open to new understandings. I release the fear of not knowing. I release the need to control. I allow myself to rest in the unknown. my mind is becoming more and more silent. My body is becoming more and more relaxed, and I allow myself to let go. Now imagine that everything you have worked with during this meditation can settle gently within you. You do not need to do anything to make that happen. You do not need to check whether it is working. You do not need to wake up tomorrow as someone different. Simply allow this experience to end in silence. And while you sleep, your mind can rest. Your body can rest. Your thoughts can rest. And tomorrow, you will be able to observe your life again with a calmer mind, with greater presence, with a new perspective. And more slowly, softer and softer, farther and farther away. Let these be the last words you need to hear. I trust. I release. I listen. I observe. I allow. I rest. My mind is calm. My body is deeply relaxed. And I no longer need to do anything else. Only sleep. Only rest. only allow. And now, my voice disappears. Thought becomes more distant, and you can go deeper, calmer, more silent towards sleep.